Well, legal expert Christiaan Small is an associate at law firm Ulrich, Roux and Associates. He joins us now for more on that story. Thanks for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Can you just explain in layman terms what were the reasons given by the High Court in Johannesburg as to why they overturned the original decision not to grant Molefe bail?
Yes, so the High Court ultimately found that the interests of justice permit his release on bail. The High Court found that the state failed to prove that his release will endanger public safety, or that he'll be a flight risk, or that he'll intimidate witnesses. Ultimately, the court found that the state's case is based on speculation, and therefore they can't refuse his bail.
Now, do you feel that his bail conditions are strict enough?
Yes, well, the state has a right, if he, for some reason, breaches his conditions, to apply to court to have his bail revoked. But obviously, his conditions are very strict. He has to report to his nearest police station 3 times a week. And he's also not to contact any witnesses. And he cannot travel out of Gauteng. And if he does, for business purposes, he has to notify the investigating officer. So that is quite strict. The state will be able to keep tabs on at all times.
Am I correct in saying that he's been implicated in the Madlanga Commission?
Yes, you are correct. But one must remember at the end of the day that an accused is innocent until proven guilty. So whatever the alleged bail hearing of an accused, however serious, is not proven yet against the person, and as such, he has a right to be released on bail, even if there's a multitude of allegations or cases against him, if the interests of justice permit his release.
Do you think the High Court took that into consideration when they were making their decision about whether or not to release him on bail?
Yes, certainly, but there are sections in the Criminal Procedure Act that the High Court is obliged to take into account, and those are the sections and the considerations that the High Court ultimately based its decision on. Not whether he's implicated in some form or another, but whether the interests of justice permit his release on bail, and he satisfied the court that Section 60, sub 4A to E of the Criminal Procedure Act, he has complied with it.
I just want to dip a little bit into the Madlanga Commission now, and some media houses and journalists specifically have been criticised in that Madlanga Commission. Do you think it's becoming a bit of a free-for-all? Yes,
well, it's difficult to say at this point, as the commission is not yet finalised and no findings has been made. But obviously, there's a lot of allegations that's currently been thrown around. But at the end of the day, that is it. This court ultimately, found that this accused has a right to be released on bail, and that's the only thing that mattered to the.
If you were a witness in the Madlanga Commission, would you be afraid that Molefe is out on bail? Is that an unfair question?
No, it's not an unfair question, and witnesses and complainants in matters are often scared. But one should remember that the proper administration of justice should never be seen as favoritism toward an accused person, but rather a necessary measure to uphold the rule of law as contained in the Constitution. And with the strict conditions imposed, should he contact a witness in the matter, the witness can inform the investigating officer and steps can be taken against him, and his bail could be revoked.
Yeah, I suppose those conditions are applicable. So it's, as you said, it's recap. It's 3 times a week he has to report to a police officer. Is that right? And
yes, that is correct.
And then he can't interfere with the witnesses. And he can't leave Gauteng. He can go to Welkom, that's it, yeah.
Yes, he can, for business purposes, and he has to notify the investigating officer. And in usual cases, you have to provide the investigating officer with your itinerary of where you're going and when you will be returned. So the investigating officer will know when he leaves the province and exactly where he'll be and when.
So what message does this give to the general public in terms of bail and bail applications, if it's turned down by the magistrate's court, take it to the High Court, you might have a better chance of getting bail.
Yes, you might have a better chance of getting bail, but at the end of the day, it's bail is not punitive in nature, and that's what the public should remember. He's not innocent by virtue of him being granted bail.
Yes.
The court just found that he will stand his trial, that there's no belief or reason to believe that he'll interfere with witnesses in the matter or abscond, and that's been proven from the case where he was granted, the previous case where he was granted bail, and he hasn't breached any of his bail conditions.
Thanks very much. Our legal expert this evening, Christiaan Small, an associate at law firm Ulrich, Roux and Associates.